All right. How would you compare police behavior between old towns and new cities? No, I'm talking about the difference between newly developed cities. They could have been around for a long time. Like if a city was just kind of small in population, and then it suddenly experienced an explosion in growth, the government tends to fall behind on reacting to that, as opposed to cities that dwindle and lose population. Like examples could be Detroit, where the businesses, the car businesses, had to pull out, and rather quickly too. So the government was a little slow to react to that, and they may have had heavy-handed enforcement towards the tail end, because at the tipping points or whatever, after the tipping point, the government would have still had full employment for the police and all that, and they couldn't react very fast until they got their statistics in that clearly showed a dwindling population, a dwindling financial structure with the businesses. So what is the difference in police behavior? I'm starting to suspect that dwindling cities may have more heavy-handed police behavior. Okay, cities that were large once and then shrank down, and more recent than anything. Because if we're talking about lumber industry, or the mining industry, that may have been something that happened a little too fast. Okay, and the governments probably knew that those are very short-term explosions. You know, a city goes from 1,000 to 10,000 in 5 years. It's like the cities might know that, depending on the industry, it probably will fluctuate quite a bit. So don't over-prepare too much. But a city can get sideswiped, okay, can get surprised when they expect and they budget for a growing city, and that city turns around and no longer grows, okay, and it comes as a shock. But they still, they have all this debt now from planning in the future that the city was going to be bigger, and then they have to figure out how to scrape all that extra money to pay off their debts. Okay, and how do they do that? I'm thinking that the cities might rely on the cops a little bit more for tickets and stuff for the remaining few people who decide to stick around. It's like selling off stocks or something. It's like you're looking for those last few people who are dumb enough to buy into a losing stock. Okay, so the people may not always pay attention to the progress of their city, and that can catch you off guard, because the government can come down pretty hard on newly developed cities. It's interesting. New money as opposed to old money. New money being brought into a city in a swarm. All this development and stuff. The government can fall behind and not have enough enforcement and all that. And it may not be so big of a deal because it's all new and exciting and things are developing, and it's the spoils of it all. People are just taking in. And I hate to mention cities because they're the one I'm in, and I would really speak lovingly and highly of it, but that'd have to be at a later date on my other channel. But I'm just posing that question: is there a measurable effect between newly developed cities and old dwindling cities? With the police enforcement, and because there's a lot of cities they seem to have too many cops. I have been to some cities where it seems like they may not have enough. but is it necessary? Based on the crime that I see, some cities may not have enough, but it doesn't seem like there's enough crime even to cause issue. But the other cities just, it's like walking into a library and it's just stuffed full of people. Okay, there's nowhere to sit. It can be like that for police stations too. They stuff it full of cops. Okay, and I'm thinking it may be a type of city it's either the people and the government love cops that much that they're willing to invest a lot more money that into this whole police worshiping community culture. But it really could be more on a measurable statistical basis too, that they're going on statistics. When you got thousands and thousands of people, it really can't be about attitude. It really has to be about what's more measurable anyway.